and my actual eyesight. Is there the high drive? Deep center! Go! 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 We're out of here! We're out of here! Say ya, playa!
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood, Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A dog pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to day 2 of the American Legion Camden County Championship here at Alcyon Park between the Mullik Hill Post 425 and the Washington Township Post 521. Of course, we were here same time yesterday for an incredibly late start time of 9:15, and what do you know, we got one inning in before rain dumped on everyone's parade and sent everyone home. The ground is still soggy here at Alcyon, and the players are still remembering that this is not a restart, this is a resumption. Washington Township will resume today's game with a 1-0 lead going to the top of the second inning. Everybody played one full inning, and then everybody got pulled off the field before Mullik Hill retook the field in the second. So that's what's going on. Matt McNatty is going to lead off for Mullik Hill in the second. It was supposed to be Chris Wolf, but changes were made because Wolf cannot attend today, so they are making a lineup switch, and McNatty, who did not play for the original scheduled game 2 of this series, ends up being thrust into the 6th spot as the DH. But we'll go over starting lineups in a second, but Mullik Hill had quite a treacherous game 1. They struggled versus Gloucester Township. They were down 7-3 at one point. They clawed their way back to win the game 8-7 after an extra frame on a walk-off single by Joey McDonald. They made it work. They did exactly what they had to do to win the game and knock out Gloucester Township, which is a newer ball club and a very young ball club, but they held their own. They did an excellent job against Mullik Hill, holding them down as Mullik Hill was certainly the favorite, and Gloucester Township held their own for as long as they could until the 8th inning. But Stephen Devaney is still the starter for Washington Township, and really nothing has changed except for that one switch up in the Mullik Hill order. But Anthony Korma and Scott Marshall are meeting at home plate right now, the two head coaches with the umpires. They're going over ground rules and, of course, going over scenarios for what if this game ends up turning on its head with the rain again. We have our rain tent ready to go in case anything happens. If things are hopeful, and I'm going to try to be optimistic about it, the thunderstorm should roll in around 9 p.m. So if they play their cards right, the game is starting at 7, you've got 2 hours. Now the bad part is that an 8-inning game yesterday took 3 hours and 30 minutes to complete. So if you play at that pace, you're not going to get anywhere. But these guys have about 2 hours, and Jersey weather knows no bounds with that. And it's a very broad timetable. But at the same time, you've already completed an inning. You're 1/7 of the way there. If Washington Township gets out early and ends up holding on to that lead, we could have a very quick game. These guys can play a very quick baseball game, and we'll see what happens. But these guys are getting loose. Mullik Hill has changed jerseys. They are not in their black tops anymore. They are in their yellow primary tops. Washington Township still holding steady with the blue and red gradient. I'm Dan Wilkins, and we'll see you in just a couple minutes with starting lineups and first pitch here from the Camden County American Legion Championships. All right, Stephen Devaney is getting the start. Hold on. There we go. Stephen Devaney is getting the start in game 2. And of course, he already started this game about 22 hours ago. But now he gets another shot to resume versus Mullik Hill as we take a look at Scott Marshall's starting lineup, brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement. For Mullik Hill tonight, it's pretty straightforward. Brendan Lockery, Gavin Weiner, and Zach Bragg in the 1, 2, and 3 spot. In the cleanup spot is Enrico Tofano out of St. Joe's Prep in Philly. AJ Palumbo of Clearview takes the 5 spot. Matt Magnotti is the DH batting 6th. He is a substitution for Chris Wolf, who could not attend tonight. Josh Herner takes the first base spot in the 7th spot. Rob Lagarina is at short. And rounding out the order will be Cole Nacarelli. The first pitch of the resumed game is in time, 1 away. So Magnotti led off after substituting for Wolf. And here is Josh Herner. This is the first ever suspended game in the history of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We have had rainouts, we have had rain delays, but we have never had a game be suspended during play before. We've certainly had games get pushed back a day, but never one that actually resumed or after a delay. So, closest thing we ever got to one was Cinnamons and Audubon at the Ralph Shaw Classic. Rain was coming in April of 23. There was a concern about thunderstorms in the area. It got halted in the bottom of the 6th, but it would have been resumed tomorrow. I'm sorry, not tomorrow. The day after this date that we're talking about in early April last year, if not for the fact that Tyler Wiltsey hit a solo home run off of Cinnaminson with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. If he doesn't hit that home run, the game is tied 2-2, and you resume the game the next day. But he hit the homer. 2 minutes later, starts pouring buckets, and that was the last game of the day. So Cinnaminson got knocked out, got sent to the 3rd place game, and Audubon resumed to the championship, where they would eventually beat Kingsway, which has Zach Bragg batting in the 3 spot, a Kingsway native, Kingsway alum. Same with Evan Shoiba, the starting pitcher for tonight's game. But it does feel weird to be starting in the middle of the order in the 2nd inning, especially because last night was essentially a blur. I mean, we were in the tent and we had just so many troubles getting out. I almost got struck by lightning. I was about 400 feet away from a direct lightning strike that was right in front of my eyes. It was directly in front of me. I had a metal chair in my hand, and the tent that we use for the rain does have metal wires, but they are closed. So it's not entirely grounded, but it is safe enough to shield you from the rain somewhat. But it was especially frightening because it landed right in front of me. You know, I was carrying the equipment down. My producer last night, Vincent Folkt, he had carried the cart to the car and he put it in ahead of me because I had to wait for a break, as that's a hit by pitch to Rob Lagarina, bringing up Cole Nacarelli. So a walk and a hit by pitch get the first base runners of the inning for Mullik Hill. Of course, we kind of have to play backup here. We kind of have to play catch up, and luckily Anthony Korma, he showed me his game changer stats from the 1st inning so that we were able to, I mean, we have the footage from the 1st inning, but it's so blurry that you can't tell who is who. You can't read jersey numbers because the camera was inside the tent and we had to stay safe. So count is 0-1 to the lefty Nacarelli. Devaney dealing with some early traffic here in the 2nd inning. He's got 1 away and 2 runners on as he faces the 9-hitter, donning the number 40. Fouled straight back. Of course, it's not an Alcyon Park game without some drama or without an instant classic. I feel like there's only been a couple of games at Alcyon that haven't been interesting. And last night was certainly interesting. That 3-hour and 32-minute game between Gloucester Township and Mullik Hill. That did go to the 8th inning, but now back-to-back hit-by pitches and a walk have put Mullik Hill in a situation where they have the bases loaded but don't have any hits. Now, they did have a hit in the first inning. They had a base hit, but Anthony Korma coming out now. Anthony Korma, the head coach over at Glassboro High for the Bulldogs in South Jersey Group 1. Of course, Korma and Devaney would be on opposing rivals in April and May with the Pittman-Glassboro rivalry, but of course in the summer these guys are all buddy-buddy, but Korma is definitely one of the up-and-coming young head coaches in South Jersey. You know, he's under 35 years old, and he's made a name for himself. You know, it's not that Glassboro hasn't had a lot of progress, but you know, they haven't had the chance for a proper window for them to contend. You know, with a South Jersey Group 1 school in a very competitive Tri-County conference, you know, they're either matched up against schools that don't have a chance against them, or schools that are too good for their own good and end up blowing them out of the water. This one is poked into right field for a base hit. That's going to bring home a first run, and Mullik Hill has tied this game back up in the blink of an eye as Devaney has allowed 4 straight runners on base. It's 1-1. That's what you want your leadoff guy to do in a situation like this. I mean, it's not often that your leadoff man is going to get a situation where he's got the bases loaded with the game in his hands, but it's exactly what he did. He didn't shoot too much. He poked it the other way, and he contributed when it mattered. So Brandon Lockery, who went 4 for 5 in Game 1, the West Deptford alum. Now here is the Gloucester alum, Gavin Weiner. Popped up in the shallow right field. This one almost had trouble, but it's taken in with a great over-the-shoulder catch by PVI's Ryan Nace. And there's 2 away. And I think you could look back at that play, you know, a couple innings down the road and say, how big was that? Because it doesn't look like, it only looks like a drop in the bucket right now, but what if that ball drops and Mullik Hill gets 1 or 2 runs home? You know, you could be talking about a very different situation for Devaney now with the 3-hole hitter up. The 3-hole hitter last night was Chris Wolf, but they have moved Zach Bragg into the 3 spot out of Kingsway, led by Bill Alvaro. Had a good run last year, but got knocked out in the South Jersey Group 4 playoffs as there's a base hit in the center field. Here comes a wicked throw to the plate. It's going to knock off the pitcher's mound, and that's a 2-run single. Zach Bragg turns the tide, and it's 3-1. That was perfect right there. Couldn't ask for anything better than that. He did exactly what was asked of him in front of one of South Jersey's best pitchers. Committed to Division III Immaculata University in Eastern Pennsylvania, a team that was our first baseball game of the year all the way back on February 24th. Strike called to Enrico Tufano. The third baseman out of St. Joe's Prep in Philadelphia, but a native of Cherry Hill. I've been wanting to cover some Pennsylvania baseball. There's some great teams over in Delco and in the Philadelphia metro that are incredibly good. I've always wanted to get in on a St. Joe's game, maybe Holy Ghost Prep. Central Bucks South have some incredible players. They're kind of like our version of, or their version of Cherry Hill West. Very loose team. But, of course, Gloucester Catholic has a good connection over there. They played Monsignor Bonner back in May of their regular season schedule and also opened their season with the Haverford School. Now, there's a Haverford public high school and there's also a Haverford private school. They did play the latter on that game 5-4. But a big thing about this American Legion tournament is that there's no Brooklawn team here. Now, I don't know if that's a result of league play or if because they've already qualified for the state tournament. as that's going to be a base hit in the center field. Devaney's in deep trouble. That's going to be brought in. Mullik Hill's waving another runner around. He is safe as the throw is cut off, and these guys are not playing nice. A 4-run frame as the middle and top of the order are doing their jobs tenfold. It's 4-1 Mullik Hill. So Tufano gets a base hit, and Devaney has had a ground out and a pop out, but a whole bunch of offense in between that. As here is A.J. Palumbo now. Washington Township already had 1 run of their own in the first. They brought 7 men to the plate, left the bases loaded, and will lead off with Bryce Butkus, the number 8 hitter for post 521 in the bottom of the second. That one is up and in. I mean, if you thought that a suspended game lasting 1 day was wild enough, you might not remember, or you might remember depending on your team affiliation, but the 2008 World Series Game 5 took almost 72 hours to complete. As that one's fouled back into the parking lot. 2-1. But that Game 5 that the Phillies won over Tampa Bay to win their second World Series championship started on a Monday, got rained out after like 5 innings, and then they were going to play on Tuesday. They couldn't play. Rain was too bad all day, so they had to play on Wednesday, a full 2 days after the original scheduled date, and they ended up playing innings 5 through 9 and winning the World Series that night. 2-1. Strike called on the outside corner. Palumbo disagrees, but count stands at 2-2. Yeah, 4-3 final. Remember it like it was yesterday. One of the first times that I was allowed to stay up later. Mom held me in front of the TV to look at this. What? He is okay. That might have been the slowest stolen base I have ever seen, but he just did it. That's unbelievable. Now Palumbo steps out of the box. I mean, he just started waltzing down to second base. He was just dancing over there, and then he went. He got there. 2-2 is a swing and a miss. Devaney gets out of it, but an odd inning to say the least, as Mullik Hill brings 9 men to the plate and drives home 4. Washington Township's got some work to do. It's 4-1 going to the bottom of the second. Evan Scheuber resuming his start on the mound for Mullik Hill as we take a look at Washington Township's lineup with Anthony Korma at the head. Brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement. For Washington Township tonight, they've got Chris Smith at the shortstop position batting leadoff. Ryan Nace at second base batting second. Stephen Devaney, the all-time hits leader at Pittman High, is third. Gavin Dillard of Anthony Korma's own Glassboro High is fourth. Jake Slesarski is fifth. Ryan Newell seventh. Hayden Sowers in the seventh spot. Billy Butkus leads us off in the eighth spot. He just took a ball down. And Quentin Myers, the catcher, bats ninth. So 4 runs for Mullik Hill in the top of the second. As a hot shot, it's speared at the mound, and Scheuber makes the play for a 1-3 ground out. Butkus is retired, 1 away. And this will bring up Quentin Myers. Of course, tune in tomorrow from Belmar Rec as we've got the qualifying round of the Tri-County Baseball League playoffs between the Camden Reds and the Haddonfield Rough Riders. The reigning champions defend their home turf against Heriberto Vega's Camden Ball Club. Tune in at Game 2 at 6:10 tomorrow night from Belmar Rec. We will let you know when we have the result of Game 1. Tri-County League is opening their qualifying round tonight, but we had to push our commitment back a day to accommodate this. Big thanks to Scott Marshall and Anthony Korma, Bill Gore for having us all out here tonight at the beautiful Alcyon Park. A little bit better than 101. I would say low 90s is better than 101, but I've been to Los Angeles in the middle of the summer where it's like 95, 96. But then I've never been to a place like Phoenix or New Mexico or whatever, but there's just a point where it's just hot. You don't care if it's 101, 100, or 102, it's just hot at that point. You don't care what temperature it is. Count is 2-2 to Quentin Myers, the catcher. Leadoff man Chris Smith on deck. Line shot, out past second into right field. Over towards McDonald, that's a base hit. Or excuse me, towards Palumbo. That brings us back to the top for Chris Smith. Strike called to Smith. As Washington Township has a runner on, looking to get the offense back rolling again after a rocky second frame. Big lead off of first by Myers, or excuse me, by Butkus. 1-1. Unfortunately, the rain might be coming a little sooner than we expected. It was supposed to pop up around 9 p.m., but it might be as much as an hour early. Oh, look at that. That ball gets away. Skips off of the first baseman and trickles into right, but no cigar from Myers, who holds it first. But whatever happens, we have the rain gear ready. Yeah, I was gonna say I've been looking at the radar. Looks like not gonna be great. Popped up. This one slices over towards right field. Palumbo going over. He slides and he did not make the catch, but a heck of an effort from AJ Palumbo as he put himself directly in harm's way to try and make that catch. I mean, he was wearing the roll-up sleeves last night. You know, he's a confident ball player, and he's a he's a very skilled ball player, and I'm not surprised that he went to make that catch. He is a 110% type of guy. He is all or nothing. Hopefully, though, this rain is whatever comes through is short, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. I looked at it; it said it was going to run until about 12 o'clock. At least with last night, by the rain maybe lasted for 45 minutes to an hour, and then it was gone. By the time I got to my cousin's apartment to sleep for the night, it was gone. But it was still rumbling for a good 2 hours after the rain had stopped, and that 45 minutes to an hour of rain was so intense that there was no way they could have resumed the game. You can still see some wet splotches on the field from last night. Obviously, the Millwards and everybody who's involved with maintenance at Alcyon Park does an excellent job at keeping this entire park, not just this specific baseball field, but the Little League fields, the soccer pitch to our left, which was formerly a part of a NASCAR racetrack, Alcyon Speedway, in the 1940s and 50s, but I mean, every single inch of grass on this is kept incredibly well by the Millwards and everybody who works on this Alcyon crew for Pittman Parks and Recreation. Another big lead by Myers, and on the full count, he walks. So Smith gets a free pass, and this brings up Ryan Nace of PVI. Covered PVI a couple of months ago in the first round of the South Jersey non-public A bracket versus Pingree, a game where Paul Sixt had a 11-run 6th inning en route to a 13-4 win. In a game that had a lot of chirping and almost had a full-on fight, but a game that was appealed to the NJSIAA by the visitors, but eventually was rejected, and PVI moved on pretty much without opposition to play Red Bank Catholic, another team that we've covered this year. 0-1 to the lefty Nace with 2 runners on. That one is high, 1-1. Got to give it to these guys, though. Both pitchers are pitching quickly. And not that they're doing that intentionally, it's just the way that Devaney and Shoiba are. They are naturally quick pitchers, and they like to work fast under pressure. There's some pitchers that really like to slow it down when they've got runners on and kind of mess with the runner's head. This one is lifted into deep right field. Palumbo going back to the wall. He makes the catch up against the wall. A.J. Palumbo, what a catch. He brings it in without issue. 1 runner tags. And Palumbo has been putting on a show in right field for Mullik Hill. There's 2 down. Or excuse me, 2 down. Whew. Not a lot of wind here, but he was saying that it was carrying into right field. Thought that might have been a game-tying homer for a sec from Ryan Nace at the hitter-friendly Alcyon Park. Throw over to first is not in time as Devaney grabs the bat. Of course, the best story that I've ever had to tell with suspended games was all the way back in, not with us personally, but just in Major League Baseball, all the way back in 2009 when the Nationals and Astros played a game in Washington. It was mid-June, and it was mid-May, and the two teams had played to a 10-10 game after 9 innings in a slugfest. But then it started pouring in D.C., and it was a Sunday afternoon, and Houston was about to go back home as that ball hits off the base in center field. It drives in a run, and Devaney, with a stroke of luck, gets a base hit, and it's 4-2. I mean, that was going to be a base hit either way, but just the fashion that it knocked off of the base at second. When that's something that, that is hard to do if you're trying to do it. It just kind of happens by accident. And Devaney cuts that lead down for Washington Township to make it 4-2 in the second. This one's a tapper, and they're gonna say it's out of play. Might have hit the batter while he swung. Devaney with 2 outs does get a courtesy runner in his place. Popped up foul down the right field line and onto the soccer pitch. 1-2 for Gavin Dillard as Jake Slasarski is on deck. Runner goes. This one is launched in the air to left. It's way up there, but he comes down with it. Unbelievable. He went behind the fence in left field. He made the catch while it was in the field of play, and Cole Nacarelli just came down with that ball and went behind the fence and left to retrieve it. Side retired. Washington Township leaves 2 on, but they do get a run home. It's 4-2 after 2.
Launched in the air to left, it's way up there, but he comes down with it. Unbelievable.
Okay. Quick start as we get to the top of the third. This is going to be a leadoff double as Magnati drives it into the gap on the first pitch. And here's Josh Herner. First pitch is outside. A couple of our flying friends taking in tonight's game. They must have a great view. But they could also be sign stealers, you don't know. I've heard everything there is to know about birds. They're very smart. And they are well traveled. 4-2 Mullik Hill. Magnati on second with a chance to extend the lead, and they might do it right here. Roped into center field. It's caught. Magnati wisely holds up at second, and there's one away. But as we were talking about, in the 2009 season, there was a game between Houston and Washington that went to the 10th inning, was then suspended. But it was a Sunday afternoon game, so they didn't Houston wasn't able to make it up like the next day. They had to go back to Minute Maid Park, and Washington was about to go on the road. So they suspended it to July 5th of 2009. Basically a full month, maybe like a month and 2 weeks later. And it was actually, it was almost like a 2-month gap between these games. But the Washington Nationals and the Houston Astros were both in the NL at that time. Houston had not moved to the American League yet. So Houston still had to play Washington in Houston. So before they started game 1 of this series, they resumed game 1, basically, with Washington as the home team, Houston as a visiting team, except it was in Houston's park. The game lasted for 11 minutes because the top of the 10th ended, because there were 2 outs in the top of the 10th when the game was suspended. And then Houston got 2 runners on and walked it off right away in 3 batters. And the craziest thing about that game was that the losing pitcher for Washington, or I'm sorry, the winning pitcher for Houston was Sean Burnett. Now, Sean Burnett was not on the Houston Astros by the time the game ended. He had been traded to the Pirates. In the middle of that, in that interim time between the first game ending and the second game resuming, he had been traded. And he got the win for a team that he was no longer a part of. So there's your funny suspended game story. There's a strike. As Nacarelli digs in with McNatty on third, 1 away, and along with that, Lagarena on first. As we'll get ready to go back to the top of the order with Lawfrey. That one is fouled back. Some ominous clouds going over Alcyon Park. Deja vu of last night. As Nacarelli will extend Mullik Hill's lead with a base hit to right. An RBI single out of the 9 spot, and he has been incredibly productive in this game too. And it's 5-2 in favor of the visiting Mullik Hill club. This will bring us back to the top for Brendan Lockery, who has 5 hits in this Legion playoffs. He had 4 in game 1 versus GT, went 4 for 5, and had 1 to start off game 2 when we resumed earlier tonight. That one's fouled back, 0-1. And Devaney himself has both RBIs for Washington Township. Had an RBI single in the first inning before the suspension, and another one in the second of game 2. Strike call there, now 1-2. This Mullik Hill still threatening here off of Devaney, who has not been himself tonight. A very excelled and incredible pitcher for Pittman. And as we said, a commit to Immaculata. And he was also the all-time hits leader at Pittman with 135, while also having a sub-2 ERA and even close to a sub-1 ERA as a member of the Panthers in his senior year. Not to mention 3-sport athlete for the very small Pittman High School. Starting wide receiver, starting power forward, and starting third baseman. And I think Pittman is going to be very good next year, even without Devaney. You know, their senior class is big, but it's not it's not in places where they can't patch that up with younger guys. You know, they're going to have Parker to Christopher there next year. You've got Hudson Rue at short, and you can probably put Rue at third and put Nicky Watson, the St. Augustine transfer, you could put him at short. You can keep Jackson Austin at second base if he's not going to catch, especially to replace John Spaeth, as that one is fouled back. And then you stick with Jude Engstrom at first base. You know, it's a very grassroots team. And Pittman, especially now having the non-resident tuition-based system, kind of changes the ball game a little bit. You know, Pittman's now a public school who is accepting, you know, kids for $1,000 a semester, which, you know, I think it's kind of a way to say, hey, we're not having the best numbers right now. Let's bring you here if you like the small school environment. You know, it's catering to kids and families who want to be in small towns, want to be in the small schools. Because let's be honest, you know, I went to a small school. I went to Audubon. Very small, intimate school, and Pittman's about twice as small as Audubon is. Or, you know, got 400 kids maybe from 9 through 12, and even that is maybe a bit exaggerated. So seeing Pittman rise, you know, with their soccer team, with their basketball, winning all these championships, gives some people hope for years to come. That's going to load the bases. On a base hit from Lockery, his 6th of this Legion playoff, 6 hits in 2 games. He has been a menace for these guys, bringing up Gavin Weiner now. Weiner 0 for 2, as Devaney will be taken out in just 2 1/3 frames. So we'll have a DWB pitching change as Washington Township goes in another direction. We'll be right back. Mullik Hill up 5-2, threatening for more. Top of the third inning. Jude Dempster, the right-hander, coming on in relief for Stephen Devaney after 2 1/3 innings. 5 runs allowed, all earned. And the bases are loaded, so he is responsible for all 3 runners on. This one's floated out towards first, going over. And he makes the catch up against the fence. So Stephen Devaney, just coming out of the game, re-enters as the first baseman and makes the catch. 2 down. Gavin Weiner now 0 for 8 in the American Legion semifinal and final across last night's game and tonight's game. But kudos to Devaney, and they're going to call a balk to bring home run number 6. It's 6-2. That puts runners on second and third now, much more favorable position for Zach Bragg, who already drove in 2 runs and gets plunked right in the back. I'm loving this Mullik Hill dugout. They are hilarious. So I guess, yeah, Scott Marshall checking on him over there. I thought it hit him up near the, I don't know what it's called, up near the shoulder blade, and they are going to have a pinch runner, although he is a catcher, so that's a 2-out courtesy, not an injury runner. 2 different distinctions there. I was not laughing at the fact that he got hit. I was laughing at the Mullik Hill dugout that was saying that's not very nice in a very sarcastic and like kind of dismissive tone. But now the balk is kind of dismissed because the bases are loaded again, so that first base spot is reoccupied. Running at first for Bragg is number 5, Joey McDonald of Gloucester, who threw in the South Jersey Group 1 final versus Woodstown, and Gloucester's first sectional title since 1974, 50 years ago. That was a walk-off win by Aiden Daly over Woodstown. As a high chopper over towards second base. Picked up, oh, bobbled. He's not going to have a play, and the run scores. It is 7-2. That'll be an E4. Charged against Nace. And a rare gaffe against Washington Township's defense makes it a 5-run game. So Tofano reaches now to bring up Palumbo. There's a strike called, 0-1. Don't forget, we are just 43 days away from the DWB football kickoff up in Burlington County at 6:30 p.m. on August 29th between the Palmyra Panthers and the Riverside Rams. Check it out for the Butch Walker Memorial Trophy on Thursday night. That one is going to be a wild pitch and actually a passed ball that brings home Lockery, and it is 8-2. A very shocking turn of events here for Washington Township, who was the number 1 seed in this tournament. And that scores Lockery to get a 4-run inning in the second and the third. These guys have not only been productive on the offense, they have been consistently productive, which is always what you want to see out of a winning club. You know, they had a little bit of a slow start, but yesterday and tonight, those conditions are night and day. You've got a nice breeze. It's not 101 out, and Palumbo swings and misses to retire the side. Damage is done as Washington Township surrenders 4 runs, and they'll have a lot of work to do on the offensive side of the ball, going to the bottom of the third, 8-2, in favor of Mullik Hill.
bases are loaded, so he is responsible for all 3 runners on. This one's floated out towards first, going over, and he makes the catch up against the fence. So Stephen Devaney just...
There's the famous car sitting above the Alcyon Park score tower, the press box up there, facing all 3 fields and the soccer pitch as well. A very innovative design. Kind of one that I wish I had thought of, but that car up there representing Alcyon in their history as a racing, why can't I think of the word, a racing venue that hosted several stock car races in the 1930s and 40s before being torn down, and the 1/3 of a mile dirt track is only memorialized at that memorial at the roundabout. You can see that little car on there as well. As a predecessor to NASCAR, which was founded in 1949. But this was a kind of a triangular 1/3 of a mile dirt track that would go, the front stretch would be down here. The hill that we are standing on was built for the grandstands, as this one's going to get knocked into the right center field gap. He will stop at second, and a stand-up double gets the party started here in the bottom of the 3rd. I mean, don't get it wrong, Washington Township, they have a lot of work to do. They're down by 6. They gave up 4 runs in the second, 4 runs in the 3rd, but this team is powerful enough on offense where it might not even matter. And this might just be a slugfest for the ages. Battery. It's gonna be a hit by pitch. Yeah, we'll switch up that. Fouled down the left field line. Something happened there?
I just pressed the strike and it made a noise.
It's weird. That's odd. Shoiba delivers with 2 on after a hit by pitch to Ryan Newell. Or excuse me, to Jack Soslarski brings up Ryan Newell. In an 8-2 game though. Swing and a miss. But our next broadcast will be Thursday in Belmar. Friday and Saturday I am out of commission for a 2-night concert in Camden, as this one is tapped out towards 3rd. Here comes a nice glove side play, but it gets away. Had the great idea, but just couldn't execute. Washington Township gets the run, as Newell will get down to second, and it's 8-3. That would have been an excellent play if he could just finish on that, and the throw was just a little wide. Not much you can do about that. And he ends up allowing a run because of it. Of course. Who else would it be? It's the only band I don't shut up about.
Train's coming in now pretty soon.
I saw Train about 5 years ago. It's
Good?
not worth it.
No.
I mean, I like Train. They're fine,
Yeah.
but they're just not a live act. But anyways, back to the game. That one's outside. Although I do have a music page, if any of our viewers are interested in learning about my music takes, I have an Instagram page called New Guy Old Soul. That's New Guy _Old Soul. It's kind of a step away, not a step away from my broadcasting, but just using a different passion of mine in the social media world and being able to talk about it and being able to, have people share their opinions and have a good time about it. So that's kind of one of my side projects that I've got going on in the books right now. But the count is 1-1 to Washington Township with 2 runners on and a tapper foul, 1-2. (8-3) Mullik Hill. That one is gotten a piece off of that one. And he'll get a ball there. That one's down. Count is full here. And a big chance for Washington Township to get back in this game, especially with weather on the horizon. Chance to make something happen here, and a chance to put yourself in contention. That one's ball 4, and the bases are loaded for post 521. So Butkus walks, bringing up Quentin Myers, who singled in the second as the number 9 hitter. Still nobody out, though. A double, a walk, an E5, at least in my book. That was not confirmed to be an error, but just what I have. It was an E5 against Mullik Hill and a walk to Billy Butkus. Brings up Quentin Myers, the catcher, in the 9 spot. It's funny because Washington Township is closing out their lineup with their catcher. Meanwhile, in Game 1, Mullik Hill led off the game with their catcher, Brennan Lockery. Now, of course, Lockery is not catching both games. Lockery caught yesterday, but he is in center field tonight. And Zach Bragg, who was not in the starting lineup for Game 1, ends up getting the nod tonight, which he did before the game was suspended. Now, for the game to be official, for a 7-inning game, you would have to complete either 5 innings if the visiting team is winning, or 4.5 if the home team is winning. Let's say Washington Township makes a crazy comeback, they're up 9-8. If the rain makes the game unplayable, they would have to have completed to the top of the to the end of the top of the 4th or later. I'm sorry, the top of the 5th. That's what I was trying to say. End at the top of the 5th would be an official game. And if it were Mullik Hill who had the lead, they would have to complete 5 full innings for it to be official. But here's a fly ball into left field by Myers, going back, and it's going to be caught in left field. That'll be a sacrifice fly. It had some good pop on it, but Alcyon decides to keep it in, and it's 8-4. 2-run frame for Washington Township. And still only 1 out, so a chance to keep the magic alive. I don't know if that was fireworks I heard in left field. I heard some sort of popping, but maybe some leftover fireworks from 4th of July, 13 days later. I'm not sure. That ball is hitting the deep center field. Lockery is there, and they're going to hold everybody up. It sounded like from the commotion in the dugout there was a logjam on the bases, and that Butkus had started to run thinking that the ball was over Lockery's head. So after a hot start to the inning, Washington Township has cooled down, and they now trail 8-4, but with 2 straight outs against them from the 9-hitter and the 1-hitter. The good thing is Myers contributed with the sac fly, but I think Smith was hoping that move the runners over. You hear that? I think the aliens are coming. They might be in the rain clouds tonight. That one is launched, but it's about 30 feet foul onto the soccer pitch. Man, that was coming right towards us for a second. Yeah, I think that's a UFO. I think that's aliens.
Nothing else to describe that noise.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, but we are...
Wouldn't it technically be like a UDO, unidentified driving?
Unidentified driving object? Does it sound like the wheels are squealing or something? I don't know. But didn't they change the name for what a UFO is supposed to be called? Like the government name for UFOs is now like unidentified, like interstellar. I think it's an unidentified interstellar particle or something, or a package. I don't know. Again. I'm really hoping my camera's picking that up. It's really good at picking up outside noises, like it can hear the cicadas or whatever. This one is hit well into right field towards the short porch, but Palumbo is there and the side is retired. So Washington Township gets red hot and ice cold. They score 2 runs, but they commit 3 straight outs to get them out of it. They bring home 2 runs, and they now trail 8-4 after 3 at Alcyon. All right, it's time for DWB trivia time here on the top of the 4th inning. Today's question is, who is the only pitcher in MLB history to receive an MVP, a Rookie of the Year, and a Cy Young Award across their career? It does not have to be in the same year, just at any point in their career. Is it A, Nolan Ryan, B, Don Newcomb, C, Clayton Kershaw, or D, Max Scherzer? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the 4th inning. For the second inning in a row, Mullik Hill brought up 9 batters, and Magnati is leading off for the 3rd time in a row, because the first inning ended with Magnati on deck, except he was not in the lineup when the game was suspended. He was entered into the lineup, as this one's poked out towards left. It is a foul ball. So Magnati led off the resumed game in the in the top of the second, and then they brought 9 batters up, 4 runs in. So he leads off the top of the 3rd, gets a double, scores, and then they score 3 more and bring up 9 batters. So that means he's going to lead off for the 3rd time tonight, except he's in the 6th spot in the order. Funny the way baseball is. It can always go a million different ways, but an entertaining game tonight. You know, Washington Township is kind of, I'm not saying they've let their guard down, but they certainly haven't played like they usually have this season. It's definitely a lot different. And, you know, maybe they are a little bit rattled from the fact that, you know, the rain came in very unexpectedly last night. And, you know, there's a million different ways that can go. But a lot of times it comes down to your mindset in this American Legion ball. You know, it's how bad do you want it? If you're just playing in order to play and you don't really care about the teammates around you, you're not going to be a winning ball club. Washington Township has good camaraderie. These guys, there's Pittman guys on here, Glassboro guys, Washington Township, Kingsway, you know, there's pretty much all the surrounding schools have representatives on this post 521 team. And so does Mullik Hill. But these guys are not a lot closer, but they seem to me, from the visual eye test, they seem to be, you know, just a little bit looser. And sometimes it's not good to be loose. But Washington Township seems to be that team that, you know, they've got good camaraderie, good rapport with each other, you know, and they know how to pick each other up, just like Stephen Vanny there. It takes a good mindset for him to come off the mound after giving up 5 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings, and then retake the field at first base and make a play very confidently right afterwards. A clean play, a clean catch, you know, a difficult catch at that, maybe 2 or 3 minutes after you just threw 50 or 60 pitches and didn't get very far with it. There are some players who do not recover from a rocky start well at all. And Devaney is one of those guys. I've seen him at his best, and I've seen him when he's not his best. And tonight was one of those nights of the latter, but he was able to recover, and he's driven in 2 runs for his team, and he's been a big benefactor on the offensive side of the ball. So he's got many reasons to hold his head up high. And he is dead set on keeping Washington Township locked into this game, even though they are down by 4 at the moment. 2-1. So Magnati 2 for 3. A ground out, a double, and a single, as this one is grounded back up the middle for a base hit off the bat of Herner. And Mullik Hill is threatening again. They've got 2 runners on, and still nobody out. You know, this gives a lot of thinking for Anthony Korma, especially because now you have one fewer day of rest. If Washington Township does win and advance to the state tournament for American Legion, there's just not a lot of I don't know what the right term is. There's not a lot of wiggle room, because the state tournament's going to start just like that, and you don't have a lot of time. Bunted out towards Devaney. He's going to go for the lead runner, and he got him there. A smart play up by Devaney on what's going to be scored as a 3-5 sacrifice hit. But the sacrifice is unsuccessful off the bat of Lagarena, as it does get the lead runner tagged out at third. Here's Nacarelli now. Mullik Hill already with 10 hits in just 3 1/3 innings so far tonight. They had 18 hits in their Game 1 win over Gloucester Township, in a game where they scored 8 runs. That one is tapped over to the mound, and Dempster throws over, and it's in time. Should note that Jude Dempster is the replacement for Stephen Devaney. Forgot to mention that in all of the chaos. Dempster, however, a lot different than a lot of other American Legion kids, as most of these guys are either high school seniors or graduates, maybe even guys in gap years and high school juniors now rising to be seniors. But Jude Dempster, a class of 2028 player, a rising freshman at Glassboro. Ball 1. On a breaking ball by Dempster. One-0. Outside to Lockery, who has, like we said, 6 hits. 2 tonight, 4 yesterday. He went 0 for 1 in his first at-bat before the suspension of the game, as Lockery, with 2 runners in scoring position, takes outside, and it's 3-1. Dempster kicks and delivers. Skies this one out towards shallow right field. Back at the edge of the grass is Nace, and he makes the catch. For the first time since the first, Mullik Hill goes scoreless. And Washington Township now reopens the door for an offensive outburst to get them back into this game. They trail by 4. It's 8-4 going to the bottom half of the 4th. Stephen Devaney rocking his classic Pittman helmet with the Washington Township top. He's driven in 2 runs tonight, as Shoiba still working strong out there, the Kingsway alum. By the way, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Dan Wilkins Broadcasting on Facebook, DW Broadcasting on Instagram and X. Also, we do have a Venmo I am an 18-year-old rising freshman at RCSJ, and I do this mostly out of pocket. And the only two ways that we fund things are through small business opportunities and small business commercials, which also, if you're a small business owner and you'd like to get in on the advertising game in front of 60,000 plus annual viewers in South Jersey, send me an email at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com as Devaney knocks a single in the left. He is now 3 for 3. He's going to be chasing Brendan Lockery with those numbers, as that was his first hit to not solicit an RBI. Washington Township, 4 runs on 7 hits, 1 error in the field. Ball 1. But yes, also, we do have a Venmo at DW Broadcasting. Any contributions are appreciated, of course not required by any means, as we bring you these free broadcasts all throughout South Jersey. But anything, of course, is appreciated, whether it goes towards my college bills or towards equipment expenses. We are trying to upgrade some of our equipment as we go into the fall season with our ambitious football 21-game slate. But of course, it is always just optional. DW Broadcasting, at DW Broadcasting. No spaces, no hyphens, just the name. Dillard fouls it back, and it is 1-2. But yes, this broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center, the #1 place to get your pet their healthy. Let me start that again. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center, the #1 place to keep your pet happy and healthy with the most organic food products available in South Jersey. Visit today 7 days a week at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon. And that could be what your advertising prompt sounds like. If you're a small business owner going under the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting advertising plan, you can send us an email for a flyer with pricing and information. Of course, when I'm trying to push my business, I false start on the advertisement, but we're human. It happens to us. And it's 1-2 to Dillard. Devaney trailing off of first here. And the pitch. Dillard gets on top of it and fouls it back towards the Mullik Hill dugout. I think what these guys are hoping for is to get this game to the 5th inning. Because if Mullik Hill leads, they're in the bottom of the 4th now. You turn a double play, you get some extra, you don't have to do too much on the offensive side of the ball in the 5th. You're kind of in a race against the clock right now, because I think when the rain hits, first of all, it's going to be even longer than the storm was last night. It's going to run until about 12, when last night's storm only lasted for about 45 minutes. This is a 3-hour, 4-hour storm. And the rain might even be more intense than it was last night. And I don't even want to know what that could entail. But let's see what they've got in the tank, though. 2-2 to Dillard of Glassboro. That one is a hot shot out towards short, picked up, throw to Weiner for 1 on the first. He's got, no, did not get him there. Right call. 6-4-3 fielder's choice gets Dillard aboard and retires Devaney for out number 1. But we explained it before. In order for it to be an official game, if Mullik Hill is leading, they have to complete 5 innings. If Washington Township comes back and takes the lead, they would only have to complete the top of the 5th in order for the game to be over. But that's no guarantee. These two teams have traded a lot of offense tonight, and Washington Township has, kind of always kept their foot in the door, even if they've been down. They haven't completely blown it open yet, and they haven't allowed Mullik Hill to run away with it. Even when they were up 8-2 by 6 runs, Washington Township scored 2. They held them in check. They got back into this one. But it's a slugfest, and it's running at a better pace than you would have thought, considering last night's snail's pace of a game 1. Strike called. popped up over towards first. He's got his hands up and he makes the catch. 2 away. Up and in, so Slarsky steps back on that one. Excuse me, Newell steps back on that one, so Slarsky just popped out. Strike called, 1-1. So here's what we're looking at right now. I mean, the radar obviously isn't too favorable, but there's the skies above us. Not looking great, and it's kind of surrounding in all directions. Throw back to first, not in time, but you can see just the view there at Alcyon going in all directions. Doesn't look great to our left, doesn't look great ahead of us, doesn't look good behind us, and it doesn't look good to our right. So we may be in for a fun one. Runner does go with Dillard. Throw beats him, but the throw goes into center field. Dillard holds up at second base. You kind of wish that that wasn't a fielder's choice for Dillard. You wish he got on with a base hit, because Devaney would have gotten to third on that one, but that also takes out the possibility of a double steal. But like we said, 10 hits. 10 hits for Mullik Hill, 7 for Washington Township in an already high-scoring game, an 8-4 in the fourth. It's very similar to what last night's game was with GT and Mullik Hill, where visiting team got a bunch of runs early. They had this very slow and drawn-out offensive outburst where they would score a couple runs here, score a couple runs there. They'd chase a couple pitchers out of the game, and then they slow down a little bit. And that opens up the door for Washington Township to get back in it. That one goes into the parking lot, and it's 3-2. So nowhere to run, nowhere to hide here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the fourth, Washington Township looking to keep their offensive production high and looking to knock on the door of Mullik Hill's lead. That one, oh, got him right in the backside. And what could have been a full count thriller ends up being a full count plunker. And that's the second hit by pitch for Newell tonight. So these guys have been trading a lot of shots. I mean, especially with Shoiba being the fastball driller that he is, it does not feel good to get a shot in the back or anywhere. But the fact that he's already been hit twice tonight, and the fact that Washington Township as a whole has been hit 3 times, Mullik Hill's been hit a handful of times, does not make the situation any better for anybody else. That one is hit out towards short, picked up, he dives, twirls, doesn't have a play, bases loaded. He kind of stumbled over himself, and what's going to be scored as a base hit ends up giving Lagarina a break. As Sowers gets aboard to bring the tying run, Bryce Butkus up to the plate. But the sky is just getting darker with every passing minute over here at Alcyon Park. There's just one more shot of the sky to the right of us. We are going to put our equipment in the tent at the end of the inning, assuming that this inning ends shortly. So we'll have everything protected. A swing and a miss. 0-2. This will be a big wasted opportunity for Washington Township to have the bases loaded in a game where you need everything to go your way right now because you don't know if you're even going to see the 7th inning. You need to score here. Shoiba needs to let up something. And he takes that one outside, and sometimes patience is key. Maybe he's got to take a couple out of the zone, but if he can do what Washington Township's done all night, which is singles, that'll do him best. Because out of their 8 hits, they only have 2 doubles. No triples, no homers. They've been keeping it pretty simple compared to Mullik Hill, who had a lot of extra base hits last night, a lot of extra base hits tonight. And that is strike 3 on the inside corner. Shoiba gets out of the jam, and it might be the last pitch he sees tonight, depending on how the weather fares. We'll put everything in the tent, and we will be right back after this. It is 8-4, Mullik Hill. You're fine, you're fine. We just have to move in the table. We're fine. Ground ball to short. Go to first. In time. One away. Alright, that's good. Alright, cart also has to go in. Chair. Of course it's gonna fit. It's fine. I'd rather miss a play than ruin thousands of dollars in equipment, yeah. All right, so if you just missed it, Weiner grounded out. Bragg got a single. And now we're up to Enrico Tofano now. But the funny thing is that Hayden Sowers on the on the Washington Township team is the nephew of Chris Sowers, a meteorologist for 6ABC, WPVI. Throw over to first, not in time. But I thought it was funny that we're in a game that is being kind of patrolled by the weather right now, and is also in it somebody who is related to a meteorologist. That is a balk. That advances Bragg to second. We'll just show you this shot right here from behind us. Is actually a little bit darker on in the real world than what you see on the camera, but that is a kind of a sign of what might be to come. But everything is now basically in the tent, except for myself and my camera. That one is down. That one goes to the backstop, and he'll get the third. Did they spill?
No, but that was fine. Wish I could reach that. I'm sure does.
Strike called. He dropped his bat. That is ball 4. So runners on the corners now. We do have an arm up in the Township pen. That is Colin Riley. Colin Riley, the right-hander for Washington Township up in the pen in an 8-4 game. This one is poked into right for a base hit that'll bring home a run for Mullik, and it will make it 9-4 on the RBI off the bat of A.J. Palumbo. This will bring up Mignotti again, who has been a force tonight, except he has led off most of the innings. Palumbo was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, but has now rebounded with an RBI. But Mignotti, 2 for 3, ground out, double, and a single in that order. One to the lefty Mignotti. This one is a tapper over the middle. A jump, a leap, and a throw is in time. Moves everybody up, and there is 2 away. Or sorry, 1 away. Oh, there is 2. Liner set it off the ground. I'm sorry, there is 2 outs. Weiner started off the inning with a ground out 4th right. But Mullik Hill, after being stranded scoreless, now has a chance to make things shine. I mean, they're up by 5, and if the rain is light enough to where you can play in it, then that can't be the worst thing in the world. Fouled that. Right, is there an umbrella in the, like a gray umbrella? Yeah. Appreciate that.
Is it raining right now?
No. Well, actually, geez, I just felt a raindrop. That was our first raindrop over here in right field. Not sure if it's hit the field yet. And this is launched out to center field on a line, but it is caught to retire the side. Mullik Hill, your time is now. They have 3 outs in order for this to be an official game and for them to punch their ticket to the state tournament, but things are not over yet. We'll see what happens. Going to the bottom of the 5th, they did score 1, and it's 9-4 in favor of the visitors. We'll be right back. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Mullik Hill brings on Brendan Lockery as their new pitcher. He moves from center field to the mound. Palumbo moves from right field to center field. And that one's high and away. Rain is here. It was coming down in center field. It's not exactly visible on camera yet, but it just came down in like a little burst. I mean, if you watched the broadcast from last night, it got progressively worse as here's a line drive into left field. That's going to split the gap. It goes into left center, and a line drive gets a double. He gets one down, though, and he did his job. So Myers, a class of 28 kid out of Glassboro, now 2 for 3. As the man who is known for hitting the ball, Brendan Lockery, the West Effort alum, now is throwing the ball and trying to avoid it being hit, for lack of a better term. but it's 8-4, or 9-4, excuse me. And Mullik Hill needs 3 outs to make this an official game. Obviously, we still want to play through, but the rain is here. It is, it's picking up over towards first base. There's a good shot of it there in the lights. So the rain is coming, and it's coming in our direction. It's right now hovering over first base, but it hasn't hit us yet. I mean, just look at this. The sky in center field. I mean, I'll just show you here. Camera's a little out of focus, but hold on here. Camera got out of focus for a second. But the sky is a lot darker than that. The camera does not do it justice. It is way darker than that camera shows. That is ball 4. I'm sorry, no, that is strike 3. I'm sorry. I apologize. That is ball. Yeah, it is ball 4. Okay. I am more worried about my equipment right now, and I lost track of the count, so my apologies. But Smith does walk, bringing up Nace. Because you saw it. He walked back to the dugout.
Yeah,
but he was dropping off a piece of equipment. That's what it was. Probably like a shin guard or something, elbow guard. Maybe he was picking up one of those oven mitts that people use to slide. I don't know, but there you go right there. Of course, last night we were trapped in the storm and had to make a quick getaway to our car. Because that one is upstairs. But Washington Township is not making the task of making this game official any easier. Strike called. That one gets in the dirt, everybody holds. One of the interesting things about yesterday was that at the start of the game, it was the second hottest Dan Wilkins broadcasting stream in terms of temperature. There's the other ones there. 101 was the temperature at first pitch. Same with Northern Burlington and Audubon back in September for a game of girls soccer in non-conference play. But the thing about that was that Northern Burlington game was on turf, which is like 10, 15 degrees hotter than if you're playing on grass. Just because when you're playing on turf, you're basically playing on painted concrete. It's basically how it is. So yeah, that's why soccer players prefer playing on grass in 99% of cases. And also the non-contact injuries have definitely taken a blow to the desiredness of artificial turf. That's a bunt, but he misses, and now he's coming to the plate. He slides, throws. Lockery tags, but it's not in time, and it's 8-5. And it's ever so closer. So Myers scores on the wild pitch, and that puts runners on second and third with still nobody out. Inning started with a double, and then a walk, another walk, and a wild pitch. Lockery shows, oh, and the bunt. Did that get him? Devaney has to scramble out of the box. He tosses his bat in frustration, and he did get hit. The bases are loaded. What a sight this would be if Washington Township and Gavin Dillard take the lead. That would be somewhat nuts. It's 8-5 now, The tying run is on first. Dillard is the go-ahead run. And at a hitter-friendly park, anything is possible. Strike one. Dillard out towards third. He's got to play at the plate. No, he's safe. He is safe at the plate. Oh my goodness, it's 8-6. I don't even know what happened there. The bases were loaded, so it was a force out. I guess he dropped the ball. Wow. Was that?
Not 9-6.
I'm sorry, 9-6, yes. So now that situation rings true with the tying run on with Dillard. Soslarski now at the plate. But Dillard, a rising senior, had 3 home runs in his high school career at Glassboro. 2 in 23, 1 in 24. That was a strike. But Steven Devaney, after that hit by pitch, now standing on second, he has reached base all 4 times tonight. The drizzle right now is very light, but that could change as it has basically become nighttime behind us in center field. Ground ball foul. I mean, just for point of reference, look at how dark those a lot closer to what it looks like in the real world. And then this is what with good lighting. So yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. That's going to be a high chopper over third into left field. That will score 1. They're going to hold the second run at third, and it's now 9-7. Ever so slightly and ever so surely, these guys are getting closer and closer to redemption. And Soslarski now 3 for 4 with his first RBI of the night. These guys are ready for glory. Strike called. 2-1. Oh, ball 4. Wow. Lockery not happy about the call, and neither was anybody in the black and yellow. It's a bases loaded walk that scores Devaney, and it's now 9-8. Tying run is 90 feet away. Unbelievable. That one goes to the backstop and the game is tied. Washington Township has come all the way back and they've tied it at 9 apiece. That is insane. These guys, with nobody out in this 5th inning, have now made it a 5-run comeback to tie the game with more possibly on the way. And what did we mention? That, well, first of all, they're taking Lockery out of the game, but second of all, what did we mention about the fact that, or I don't think they're taking him out just yet, I think they're just talking to him. I digress anyways. I said in the 4th inning, I said in the 3rd or 4th inning, I said, you know, assuming Mullik Hill wins this game when it becomes official, and then now that is words that I will have to eat because that is incredible. Washington Township, against all odds, take a look at them now. It's 9-9. So Lockery will walk back to the dugout, and we have a pitching change. So the new pitcher for Mullik Hill, as they try to save this ship, will be number 14, Nate Ford. We'll be right back after this in a slugfest at Alcyon Park. Nate Ford is set here in the bottom of the 5th. That one is inside. 1-0. To Hayden Sowers with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Newell. And that's inside. As we said, Sowers, the nephew of 6ABC meteorologist Chris Sowers. Time is called. Strike called. 2-1. The rain has stopped for the most part here. I mean, I don't know if Jersey is going to play nice with us today. There's a fly ball into center field. Palumbo's got it. Here comes the tying run to the plate, the winning run, excuse me, or the go-ahead. I went through 3 different rolls there, and I came up with nothing. They do hold him up, and there's one away. They saying he let. Oh yeah, that would make sense. I thought it looked almost too good to be true, but I didn't want to say anything. And yeah, Sieber, you make a good point. He left early, a tad early off of 3rd, and they did not score because of it. Although that would have been a great thing to see Palumbo make that throw to the plate, because that looked like it was on target too. He's done a lot of those over at Clearview. He's got a really strong arm out there. But still rocking here. Floater in the shallow right field. It's caught, and it's too shallow for the runner to tag. How about that? A stroke of luck for Mullik Hill. The first out, the runner left early. The second out, the fly ball was too shallow. And Mullik Hill might go into this 6th inning tied after all. This is unbelievable. Well, I mean, it is dark, but you also have to consider it's 8:50.
Yeah, that's true.
So, rain or not, it would have been this dark anyway. So this is just an extension of, oh, this looks bad. 1-0. Listen to Washington Township's dugout. What did I say about these guys having incredible camaraderie? You know, these guys are incredibly close to each other. And right now, the vibes are immaculate. They've scored 5 runs. They want to get one more so that basically at this point, it's the bottom of the 5th inning. If you make it a 10-9 game, you don't care. Let it pour. Let it pour for all I care if you're Washington Township. If you're Mullik Hill, though, you've got a lot of work to do. And keeping this game tied would be a godsend for you. That is ball 4. Here is Chris Smith, the 11th batter to hit for Washington Township. Myers walked, which was the 10th batter, and now Myers is in his 2nd at-bat of the inning. At the top of the order for the shortstop. That one's inside. Mullik Hill made a pitching change and put Ford in for Lockery. This is their 3rd pitcher of the night, with Shoiba being the starter. Lockery with a brief relief appearance and a fly ball. Does Mullik Hill get out of this after all? He backtracks, took a wrong turn, and made it to the destination anyway. What did I say about stroke of luck? 9 out of 10 times that ball drops, and you've got a game in the hands of Washington Township. They are incredibly lucky. But the damage is done on the scoreboard. 5 runs for Washington Township, 11 batters at the plate, and this game is official, but we don't have a winner to make it official. We've gone the distance, and now we go to the 6th in a 9-9 game. Dempster is still working on the hill. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. As 95% of students or more pass their New Jersey State Road Test with Harper Driving School, you should like those odds. And if you do, book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, right off of Lambs Road. About 2 minutes of a drive from Alcyon Park. Swing and a miss. 0-2. That'll be strike 3. The throw to first is wide. It gets past Devaney. It goes into right field. He's going to hold up. And the go-ahead run is aboard. So Lagarena reaches on a dropped or a strikeout wild pitch. And now Nacarelli is at the plate.
Now the heavy stuff is going to miss us, and we're going to get like a little bit of rain.
Really?
Yeah.
It says rain stopping briefly. I think the heavy stuff is going to miss us. By grace of whoever you believe in, that's incredible. Although I should say, is there any wood around? I feel like I need to, the knock on wood. I feel like I need to.
A lot of trees in this area.
Yeah, there are a lot of trees. I can knock on wood in that fashion. Find a 2x4 laying somewhere. Here's the pitch. With the runner now on second. That being Lagarena, who advanced. Now Nacarelli, who has been productive out of the bottom of the order tonight. He is up. And a chance to give Mullik Hill a 10-9 lead. Versus Dempster. That is down. And it is 3-0. That hit a whole bunch of people. I think that hit the batter, the catcher, maybe all three. But Anthony Korma coming out and checking on his guy, making sure he's all right. Tapper foul on a bunt. And it's 3-2. Makes sense to bunt in a situation like that. You want to get your runner over at the 9 spot in the order. And when you don't know what the production is going to be, you give yourself up, and now you can kind of focus on the at-bat itself. Second base is playing rather deep in a shift. And there is strike 3. Dempster got him. And Nacarelli not happy with himself as the lineup turns over back to the top for Brendan Lockery. For a guy that's had 6 hits in a doubleheader, I think he's going to be due. But Dempster wants to make sure that he does not get that opportunity. Dempster has 2 strikeouts this inning, but only 1 out because the first reached on a wild pitch, that being Lagarena. Lockery went 4 for 5 in game 1 and now has 2 hits in game 2. Now he's got the go-ahead run at third on a wild pitch. I mean, Lagarena's not the fastest guy on this Mullik Hill team, but if a fly ball is deep enough, you betcha that he's going and that he's going to get through. Just a quick meeting between pitcher and catcher. Got a big chance to turn the tide of the game with 1 pitch and 1 swing. Ducks down, ball. 2-0. That one's a ground ball. That goes past into center field, base hit, and double digits have been reached for Mullik Hill. Lockery with hit number 7. He does not stop, and it's 10-9. He is having an incredible night. There's a line drive. That's caught it short. And the umpire does say that's a catch. Tough to see from how far away we are in the outfield. Bragg with a throw back, and the ball gets away. He's going to round second. He's going to stop there, but he definitely thought about going to third. You could hear Coach Scott from Mullik Hill say, "Hey, you're looking at me." Like, he gave him the signal to go, and he just didn't go. And maybe that it was an aggressive send. You know, maybe there is a silver lining to it. But, wow. Obviously, Mullik Hill not too happy that he didn't go there, that he wasn't, paying attention to his coach. But sometimes it's a heat of the moment thing. Mullik Hill's dugout getting into it now that they have the lead in their hands. Ball. 1-0. That one is going to skip away. Another wild pitch and another base advanced for Mullik Hill. So he made it to third anyway, whether his coach wanted him to or not. And that insurance run, which is going to be ever so helpful now, will be there. (10-9) Mullik Hill, looking to make it 11. That is upstairs. Count in the favor of Bragg, who also has a runner in a favorable position. That one's going to be a ground ball out towards third. Picked up, throw across on the run. It is low, but it is in time, and the run will not score. But Mullik Hill staves off the comeback from Washington Township after giving up 5 in the prior frame. They get one across, and now the game is official. But Washington Township doesn't want it to be that way, and we'll see what they've got in the tank. They've got 6 outs on the board and 1 run to spare. 10-9.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities. Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar. Operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey, Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp.
Welcome back to Alcyon Park. We've got a new pitcher here at the somehow dry baseball field. I have no idea how we missed the heavy stuff, but that's Jersey for you. You can flip a coin and you never know. You absolutely never know. But we've still got the 10 up as a precaution. We've still got the umbrella up as a precaution. And a strike is called with A.J. Palumbo, the new pitcher. Brendan Lockery moves back to his original position as center field. Joey McDonald is in right. And Palumbo, who has been at 3 different positions tonight, takes the hill. Excuse me, it is 2-0. Hit out towards second. Weiner throws, got him. And a unusual 4-3 ground out retires the batter. 1 away. So here is Devaney now, with reached base all 4 times. 3 singles, 2 RBI, and a hit by pitch. But Mullik Hill, now up by 1, makes for an interesting and precarious scenario. And he might have his 4th here. Out to Weiner. It is in time, 2 away. A huge play by Gavin Weiner there. He's had a couple of great defensive gems. And especially considering that he hasn't had the best night on offense, he's going to try his best to make up for it in the field, and he absolutely has done that. Great job there. And goes to the backstop. Washington Township, they're having just so much fun right now. Every ball, every wild pitch, you can see it in there. Nobody is sitting down. Okay, maybe one guy's sitting down, but 99% of the team is standing up against the rail. And these guys are loving the energy right now because they want to play for a state championship for the American Legion. High chopper over towards second base. Weiner is there, and he's done it thrice in a row. Gavin Weiner with 3 great plays, some of them routine, but not to be unnoticed here in the bottom of the 6th inning. They are 3 outs away from staging an incredible holding on effort to get to the state tournament for American Legion, but we have 1 more inning to play, 10-9.
up by 1 makes for an interesting and precarious scenario. And he's might have his 4th here. Out to Weiner. It is in time, 2 away.
Here from Alcyon Park, a beautiful Wednesday night, and somehow we have avoided most of the storms and the damage, knock on wood, from this line of storms that was surely going to obliterate any chance of us getting a full game in. But here we are in the 7th inning, 2 hours and 14 minutes later, with Washington Township needing, Mullik Hill needing 3 outs on the defensive side of the ball to send them to the state tournament. Mullik Hill had a 1-2-3 frame with A.J. Palumbo tossing a scoreless inning. Back-to-back-to-back 4-3 ground outs to the second baseman. For Mullik Hill, though, it's 4, 5, 6, the meat of the order. Tofano, Palumbo, and I'm sorry, Gagnati. I apologize. I saw the name, I read the letters, I could not read it. It's just a disconnect there, but Mullik Hill needs some insurance runs here. I think considering what Washington Township has done, the fact that they've scored in bunches, 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 5 in the 4th, makes a case for, you know, just a situation where these guys have to play thinking that it's a tie game. Play like there's no tomorrow. Here's a pop-up in the infield. 1 away. Here is A.J. Palumbo of Clearview, and the pitcher, who may be looking for a 6-out save, depending on the situation. Ball. One away, base is empty for Palumbo, looking to get this hit by pitch in the back as the insurance run quest goes on. And Palumbo with a bit of a rebound after 3 straight strikeouts swinging in the first 3 innings of the game. He now has singled for an RBI and has been hit by a pitch. So he's reached base in 2 of his 5 appearances tonight. Bad throw back to first. No, he holds on to it. Foul tip. And he is retired. 2 away. And here is Josh Herner. That one is roped out towards right center field, but it is caught at deep center field. A great way to bring it in without being flashy for Billy Butkus. And now Mullik Hill is on edge. They've got 1 run to defend and 3 outs to defend it. Washington Township looking to get it in their hands. We'll be right back going to the bottom of the 7th, 10-9.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
actually lost that. So with Sowers hit by a pitch, he's got a chance to play hero here. Up and in. Running him close again. Strike three. 2 down. Yeah, we lost audio on the home run call. Ugh. It was a good home run call, too. That is a shame. I'm going to be kicking myself on that one for a while. Here's Quentin Myers. Throw over to first, not in time. Man. 10-10 game, bottom of the 7th. Swing and a miss. So now the game is tied. We are 10-10 going to the 8th, and for back-to-back nights, it will end up being an extra inning affair here in Pittman. We'll be right back. Down low to start the 8th. Still kicking myself that our broadcast didn't have audio for that home run call, but oh well. Lagarena, Nacarelli, and Lockery, 8, 9, and 1, will lead us off in the 8th. Hey, I mean, make up for it. Somebody hit a bigger home run. I can have one on my record. Fly ball in the shallow left field. 3 men are going out for it. Nobody's got it. Base hit for La Garena as that drops between left center and short. And now Rob La Garena has reached base for the fourth time tonight in 5 plate appearances, all in different ways. In the second inning, he was hit by a pitch. In the third, he popped out to second. In the fourth, he reached on a fielder's choice as a result of a sacrifice bunt. In the sixth, he reached first on a dropped third strike. And in the eighth, he gets a base hit. Here comes a throw from the catcher's spot, but there was a collision between the pitcher and catcher. Oh man, he hurt his hand. That's going to be a base runner for Nacarelli. He went to throw the ball to first, and the pitcher was standing behind him, so he cocked his hand back, and his pitcher was standing in the way. That hurts. And Korma's out there now, checking on Quentin Myers. That'll be back-to-back base hits to start off the eighth. There are some folks in left center field that are looking for that home run ball from Jake Slusarski. It went a little bit further to the left, but these guys are out in the woods, and they're looking. They are on a mission for that home run ball. That, like we said, that went 426 feet, according to our estimates, which would be the second longest home run hit on a DWB broadcast this year. The third longest was Zach Morales of the South Jersey Grizzlies at 421. And then the longest was 434 earlier this season. I'm sorry, 435 between Paul Figueroa at Bergen Community College versus Camden County College. Paul Figueroa committed to Charleston Southern to play Division I baseball. He hit one halfway over the parking lot at Camden County College for a game that Bergen would eventually win 16-9 in a standalone Game 3. That one's fouled back. And I remember that game very well because Bergen had scored like 15 runs, and all of the pitchers for Camden County came out of the bullpen and started running polls in the middle of the game. And right behind our broadcast booth, too. So they were just chit-chattering away. They were talking while they were running polls. And eventually, Bergen won that game 16-9. It was a very interesting sight. Like we had a running club behind us. 2 on, and a strike called. Lockery not happy about the call. For a guy that's had 7 hits in this doubleheader, he's an incredibly valued team member and a teammate for Mullik Hill. Fouled back. Last thing that you want is to have one of your top players thrown out because they disagreed with a call. Those kids are deep in the woods now. Actually, no, they popped out. They, I don't know if they found the baseball, but I'm sure somebody asked them to find it. Line drive, base hit into left center field. That's going to drop, and it will give Mullik Hill an 11-10 lead as Brendan Lockery, with an unbelievable, 8-hit doubleheader. Yeah, run did come across. Or no, bases are loaded. I apologize. So no, nobody did score on that one. Let me just make sure real quick by looking back at the tape. No, they held everyone up. But bases juiced here in the 8th. Infield playing on the edge of the grass. But Weiner at the dish now. Trying to make something happen here. That one is way high. Runner breaks. Now he's got to go back. Now there's a log jam, and everybody survives. Wow. I don't know what scenario happens where all 3 runners broke for it, went halfway, stopped, and had to go back. That is a ball. Infielders again on the edge of the grass. That is launched to left. It's going to stay in the park, and it is foul. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but he said what he said. That came out of his mouth, not mine. Bases loaded. 2 strike count, 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Mullik Hill looking to take the lead. Fouled back. Stays alive. There's a line drive to left, but once again foul. This is an intense moment here. But some people dream for situations like this. Weiners do. You can look at the numbers yourself. He has been due for a base hit for a long time, and he's got a prime opportunity to do it right here. Outside. 3-2. He has worked this at bat to the bone. This is pitch number 10 of the at bat. 3-2. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. A walk gives Mullik Hill the lead. This one is floated out towards straightaway right. Might not be a hit, but a runner's going to be ready to tag. He will go, but he will hold. And it was just barely shallow enough, and the throw from right from Slesarski was strong enough. It was on a line for Weiner to be retired. And if you're Weiner, you're hoping that you can have some sort of redemption there and drive in the run on the sac fly, but you just didn't have it. There's a couple of balls being thrown back into the field of play. As Colin Riley, who is in for his 2nd inning of work, delivers a swing and a miss to Zach Bragg. They've gone through a handful of pitchers tonight. Devaney was chased out after 2 1/3 innings. He was replaced then by Jude Dempster, who then relinquished control over to Colin Riley. So this is their 3rd hand of the night. That one is down. 1-1 with 1 away. But man, just if Mullik Hill can get out of this with a run across, that would be great for them. But if Washington Township goes with bases loaded, nobody out, doesn't even have to make a pitching change, bases loaded, nobody out, you get a fly out, you get a strikeout, and you get anything that's not a hit, and you've got an incredible story to tell as these guys look to punch their ticket to the American Legion Championship. Floated into left, shallow center, it's caught, and once again, it's going to be shallow. Those are some strong arms out there. And he lines out to center to set the stage for Enrico Tofano. I mean, a fly ball to shallow right, a liner to center. These guys are in a prime position. We just heard a rumble to our right, and storms might be expected in the next hour, but the weather forecast isn't exactly sure when it's going to be. I mean, we missed most of the heavy stuff, and I'll tell you right here as these guys dive back. I'll show it to you right now. So where the black dot is Pittman. There's a heavy band to the top and a heavy band to the bottom. And it went right through. We went directly through the middle. And I don't know how you do that. I mean, I felt a couple drops in the past couple of minutes, but that's it. I mean, there's a band across the entire East Coast right now from New York State all the way down to like Virginia, North Carolina, you know, all along the seaboard. And it's incredible, the fact that it split the gap right through the middle, and we've had this game without delay. But Tofano, the infielder out of St. Joe's Prep, with a hit by pitch, an RBI single, an E4, a walk, and a pop out to the shortstop. He has reached base in all but one at bat, as we are now in the 6th rotation of the order. Fouled back. That almost hit the light tower down there. That ball is hit deep into left field. Gone! Enrico Tofano grand slam! Oh my! That's incredible! A wall scraper, unlike Township's homer. The entire team out there. And it's 14-10. That's incredible. Grand slam. Scoring on that were Lagarena, Nacarelli, and Lockery. That was the 37th home run on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting this year. A wall scraper to left. And only the third grand slam of the year. First was Tyler Napoli on March 30th in a doubleheader between Camden County and Lehigh Carbon. Swing and a miss. The second was Sean Taylor in that aforementioned PVI Pingree playoff game for Paul Sixth. And the third was just now with Enrico Tofano. The first Grand Slam this season be hit by a visiting player. There's strike three. Washington Township still has 3 outs, but they've got a lot more work to do. A grand slam by Enrico Tofano blows this game wide open. It's 14-10 going to the bottom of the 8th.
That ball is hit deep into left field. Gone! Enrico Tofano grand slam!
Well, oh my goodness, this game has been turned on its head and then some. A grand slam by Philly's own Enrico Tofano makes it a 14-10 game. The second home run hit in this game, the other being a moonshot by Luke Sosarski. But man, one ball goes 426 feet, the other goes 318. Well, guess what? The grand slam just added 4 runs and the other added 1. That's a foul ball. We start off the 8th at the top of the order with Chase Smith, Ryan Nace, and Stephen Devaney. Devaney has reached base 4 out of 5 times tonight. 3 singles, 2 RBIs, and a hit by pitch. He has scored 3 times, but I had a feeling as soon as this game got to like 8-4, 9-4 that Washington Township was gonna make this interesting, and I didn't think it was gonna be 14-10. I'll tell you that. The highest scoring game we had this year on a DWB broadcast, I want to say, was Northampton and Salem Community College, where it was 11-10 Salem. But I might be wrong on that, so we'll have to wait for the official word. But that one is outside. That ball is hit towards short, and they are not going to have a play. So Smith gets the party started with an infield single, and Washington Township has business in the 8th. So here is Ryan Nace out of the lefty box. That one is upstairs. 1-0. Smith with his first hit of the night. He popped out, walked, flew out, and singled. And like we said, these guys right now are in their 6th batting rotation. Especially considering Washington Township had an 11-batter inning when they scored those 5 runs to tie the game at 9-9. That ball is hit well. There's about 4 guys going for it. Who's got it? It's caught it short, and he cradles it in, 1 away. I mean, your player of the game has to be Enrico Tufano, right? I mean, that grand slam, that turned this place into a park where you can hear a pin drop. And Tufano in his own right, with 5 RBIs on the night. This one's a tapper over the middle. This could be 2. No, the throw gets away. It goes into center field, and we stay alive. Devaney reaches on an error, and we remain standing. That's going to be scored as an E1, bringing up Dillard. But man, what if Dillard loads the bases and brings up Slesarski again, who hit the 425-foot home run into the trees and almost into the farm that's behind the stadium? I mean, if you hit a if you hit a home run that almost leaves the stadium, I'm not talking about the fence. I am talking about the physical boundaries that keep baseballs in the park besides the outfield fence. That's going to go in the right field. Washington Township's going to get a run back. It's going to be an RBI for Dillard. Now he's going to be caught between first and second. He'll hold up there. Devaney gets to third. It's 14-11. Dillard with his first RBI of the night, and now the last guy that you want to have with a bat in his hands with the tying run up. Man, here's Jake Slesarski. Hit a solo home run in the bottom of the 7th to tie the game at 426 feet, 2nd longest home run on DWB this year. And now he has a chance to do it again off of Mullik Hill. Here's the first pitch. That's a swing and a miss. 0-1. Slesarski with 4 hits tonight, 2 singles, a double, and that solo home run. Throw over to first, not in time. The only time he did not reach base, he is 4 for 5, was on a pop out to first in the 4th. But this game has gotten intense, real quick, real fast, and now Washington Township is once again knocking on the door. There's a ground ball. That will go to short. They've got one because the throw was high, but he was able to bring it down. Weiner got it. Devaney scores. It's 14-12. And now they've got just 1 runner on, so now the tying run is Newell. Grand total of 26 runs scored tonight. That one is down. The highest scoring game of the year was in the Region 19 finals for RCSJ Gloucester and Northampton Community College. Game 1 of that doubleheader was a 20-9 final between the 2 teams with a grand total of 7 home runs hit. But this is only the 4th game this year to have both teams score double-digit runs. Northampton-Salem, Lenape-Audubon. I'm going to throw over to first, not in time. Along with that, Lehigh-Carbon and Camden County, which was 14-10. And then also Bergen and Camden County from earlier this year. Thought about it, but he takes a strike, and it's 2-1. So Palumbo came into the game in the 6th inning looking for a 6-out save. He didn't get the save, but Scott Hamill has been a ride or die with him ever since. Here is the pitch. That is high. With rain somehow avoiding this stadium tonight, it has paved the way for one of the clearest and one of the best games of baseball we've seen this year in an instant classic slugfest. That is ball 4. I mean, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. And here is Sowers. Two away. Mullik Hill 1 out away from this moment here. Steps off. That is down and away. That is number 17 at the dish, which is Luca Bove, pinch hitting for Sowers. Running at first is a number 26 that we do not have on our roster. Way outside, that goes to the backstop. Both runners move up. And now a bloop single can tie the game. So hitting for Sowers, not an easy task by any means. But number 17, Luca Bove, will now talk to his coach after a quick meeting between Palumbo and his catcher. I mean, this is incredible, what we're seeing tonight. Back in action, Bove steps back in the box. Strike called. He will walk. So Bove with a free pass. And here is Billy Butkus in the 8th spot. An at-bat for the ages coming up right here versus Palumbo. 2-run game, bases loaded. Takes a wicked fastball low. Strike called. Butkus has struck out 3 times tonight and has grounded out and flew out to right. Or I'm sorry, he has walked So he's only reached base one time. And the man in front, behind him in the order, being Quentin Myers, has a single, a sac fly, a double, a walk, and a strikeout. So Butkus is due. That one is way high. The control is out of the park right now. It's 2-1. Check swing. Says it's high. And it's 3-1. Here we go. 3 balls, 1 strike. A chance to cut into it further. That is a strike, and it's 3-2. This is what dreams are made of. 14-12, a slugfest for the ages. And the highest scoring game of the year. Here's the 3-2. Swings at what should have been ball 4 out of an act of desperation, and it's foul. As we said, Quentin Myers is on deck, and there is that wiggle room with the fact that they have 2 runs to spare, but you don't want to test that. You want to end the game right now, right here. You do not want to leave anything for grabs. Palumbo is set on the 3-2. Runners go. This one is hit well. Straightaway center field. Going over, and Lockree's got it. And in an act of desperation, Enrico Tofano with the go-ahead grand slam in the 8th inning. He wins the game, and despite Washington Township's comeback, they fall short, and it's a 14-12 final as Mullik Hill wins the County Legion Championship and advances to the state tournament next week. An unbelievable game for the ages. This has to be a DWB classic. Tofano, by default, your player of the game. 5 RBIs, that grand slam in the 8th. I mean, you know, look, Jake Soslarski, 426-foot home run to left center field, 2nd longest home run on a DWB broadcast this year. The only other one being a guy who's committed to Charleston Southern Division I. But look, this game got a little chirpy at some points. Umpires gave out warnings, and these guys held their cool. You know, this was a great game from start to finish, and these guys just played baseball. And it was sloppy baseball at times, and a lot of the walks were definitely something that, you know, could have been avoided. But the fact that they came back after being soaked in rain last night, after a 9-10 start, having to turn it around and run it up today is an incredible feat. So best of luck to Mullik Hill. We'll let you know what our future plans are for American Legion. We covered some state stuff last year with Lawrence and Washington Township, but we are not sure what our plans are for this upcoming American Legion tournament. Our next broadcast, we do know for sure, is tomorrow at 6:10 between the Camden Reds and the Haddonfield Rough Riders from the Belmar Rec Center as the Tri-County Baseball Playoffs open tomorrow night, or they open tonight, but we will be opening our coverage of that tomorrow night from the Belmar Rec Center. From everybody here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, our social media coordinators Brandon the Kegerland and Keely Curran, our graphics crew Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Nelson Reeves, my wonderful producer Ryan Sieber. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you tomorrow from Belmar, ladies and gentlemen. An instant classic from Pittman.